Hey everybody, my name is Brad.
And I'm Sean.
I live in Nashville, Tennessee, and I am in my basement with my toys.
I live in Charlotte, North Carolina, and I'm in my guest room / office with some books and movies.
This is our first video, so we are going to be discussing a movie that just came out. We're very excited to share our thoughts with all of you. Sean's my brother-in-law, and we've been hanging out for almost 20 years. He's younger than me, but yeah, 20 years almost. But he lives, he moved. We're separate now, but when we're together, all we do is get coffee and talk about movies and shows and music and stuff. So this is our way of hooking back up and closing the gap. So we're gonna be sharing our thoughts with each other, just like if we were sitting at the table across from each other, but we're doing it from a distance. And we're also gonna be sharing our thoughts with y'all from a distance. What are we gonna be talking about today?
All right. So this past weekend, a little movie came out streaming to everyone's homes from Netflix, or it's a follow-up to a show that I think a lot of people know and love, and it's called El Camino. It's a Breaking Bad movie. It stars Aaron Paul, and it's just a follow-up, basically just telling what happened to Jesse after you see him crash through the neo-Nazis' fence at the end of Breaking Bad. He's been through hell, and it picks up from there.
So we wanted to first just give out our opinion on the show Breaking Bad. First of all, I started watching it I started watching it live in the 4th season. It was recommended to me by a couple people, and I was like, yeah, whatever. But it ended up being, and I can actually say this, it's my favorite show. I have other shows that are close, but they all change positions. But it seems like Breaking Bad is untouched. There's one show that pushed it a little bit in the last year, but still, Breaking Bad is my favorite show. So I was very, very, very excited for this. My expectations were, tempered. You got to be careful about that. But still, I was very excited to see what was going to be next in these characters' journey.
Yeah, and I think exactly what you said. It was either like mid-4th season or maybe the 4th season had just aired and it was about to go on Netflix at the time. And you were telling me and my brother that we had to watch it. So I took that recommendation and I never looked back because it is fantastic.
One thing to say before we actually get into our individual thoughts is for our massive audience to know is that Sean and I have not talked. We purposely watched the movie separately and have not exchanged any thoughts about it. So this is like our real first interaction about the movie. So I'll be finding out what Sean thinks just when y'all are, and Sean will find out what I think when y'all are. So I'm thinking Sean can start.
Our second question was, did we need a follow-up to the movie or to Breaking Bad? And talking a little bit with you before this without actually sharing thoughts, you were like, that's going to be a really easy question. I think I already know what you think, but for me, I didn't think we needed this, obviously. But whenever I heard the idea tossed around, there was kind of like some chatter about it, and then they released the trailer, like dropped it. All of a sudden, I was like, I'm in. So I didn't need it, but after the fact, I'm okay that we got it.
Oh boy. I did not need this. I did not need this at all. So this is actually, I'm probably going to talk more about this than I will actually about the actual movie, because when Breaking Bad ended and Jesse drove off, I think we all got to write our own ending. Okay. And the ending I wrote in my own head was that Jesse got away somehow, and he got all the way away, went to Mexico or wherever, and lived his life. And it just so happens that that's the movie, except not Mexico. And so when I heard there was going to be a Breaking Bad movie, for me, this is important for everyone to know, Walter White is Breaking Bad to me. I think he's an American hero and the ultimate dad, until a couple little decisions he might make in the later seasons.
Qualifying the ultimate dad does require that you cook meth and build an empire on illegal drugs.
It does.
Okay. I just wanted to clear that up.
I'm not ultimate dad. I always thought of Jesse as weak and mentally frail. And so for him when he drove off and stuff and the show ended, I was fine with that. He drove off into the sunset and lived his life, and I was happy for him, but I was real concerned with Walt. What happened to Walt? What happened to Walt? And for the past, 5 or 6 years it has been, I've been telling everybody, you never saw him die. When they said there was going to be a Breaking Bad movie, I'm thinking Walt's alive. And so I did not want to see that either.
Yeah.
To be honest. It's to me, the only 2 shows that ended perfect. I did not need this.
That besides, we'll get on to the next topic, which is your likes and dislikes of the film. So I'll let you kick this off with your likes.
I think our likes and dislikes are going to be the same. I mean, I didn't really dislike anything about the movie. The movie was clearly a Breaking Bad movie. It was clearly shot and written and everything by Vince Gilligan. It looked just like the show, in my opinion. It was perfect. I loved the shots. Well, my favorite shot is the shot where he's like overhead and showing him searching the apartment for the money. And it's
where it's like an ant hill. That's what it reminded me of.
That was great. So, I mean, everything about the production of the movie, the acting, the writing, every single thing about it, I thought was, I actually don't have any dislikes about it. My likes are much more than my dislikes. I think my dislike just simply being I didn't need it and nothing happened. Lastly, that it was not very engaging to me as I already mentioned how I really kind of felt about Jesse. I liked his character. It should, he was supposed to die in the first season. Let's just say something, but I'm not going to say that it was boring, because it was definitely not boring. I just found myself having a hard time getting engaged. I guess it's because I already wrote the story in my head. So definitely some intense moments. You knew he wasn't going to die. So it wasn't like nothing like that was going to happen. So I liked the flashbacks. I liked that it added Fat Todd. I really wasn't feeling Fat Todd all that much. But
oh man, I loved Fat Todd.
I liked Todd being there, but him being Fat Todd, he was fat in Date Night, and so it threw me. I thought it was Todd from Date Night, not Todd from.
They're not Todd. Yeah.
Anyway, I really, really liked watching it, but I did not need it. Go ahead.
First of all, I like Jesse as a character. Yes, he's flawed and he makes mistakes all the time, but he's very human, and it's always kind of been like a tragedy for me, like watching the entire series, where he's like almost redeemed, or he'll have like something and then one little thing will pull him back into a path of destruction. My love of this movie, though, was Fat Todd. That to me, his acting and character was the best part of this movie. I didn't think that I wanted more Todd, but this movie actually made me resent him more. And I don't know, and just like seeing the intricate details of his apartment and stuff, you're like, this dude's a lunatic. And I was talking with my brother earlier about how he just killed this lady that was his cleaner, and he was like, oh, she was great, did her job perfectly, but she just brought the book out.
I'm gonna ask this question, and I want a yes or no answer. Would you rather see El Camino or El Fat Toddo? Would you rather see a movie about Fat Todd that Jesse Pinkman shows up in those scenes, they have a play day or whatever, or would you rather see El Camino?
Ooh, what about Fat Todd the miniseries? I think I would rather see a Better Call Saul Fat Todd. So carrying on, we digressed a little bit and got a little bit off track, but this gave closure to Jesse's story. Yes, you can go into, we already kind of got, we could have imagined that ourselves when he was driving away. But also one thing that I liked and disliked at the same time was the little gunslinger moment at the end where kind of the antagonist of the film, I'd say, is like hopped up on cocaine and alcohol and stuff. And and Jesse has an issue. He needs money. So rather than just like shoot him or give him the money, he's like, hey, let's do this. He's like wanting a challenge. It was weird, but I liked it because when Jesse pulls out the gun from the side of his jacket, it kind of gave me like Jesse stepped up his game a little bit, and then also it kind of gave me like throwback vibes to Indiana Jones when he shoots the guy when he's twirling the sword. So I liked it, but it was a little cheesy as well.
I could have done without that scene.
I mean, that's it really. The pacing was a little dull at times. Like there was times where I'm like, ooh, like let's get going with something, you know, like because you had said earlier that nothing really happens. And it's weird having like a Breaking Bad format into a 2 hours. That was kind of jarring for me. Dislikes too were that the antagonists were kind of weak. I felt like they were just kind of tacked on just to have some sort of tension, like you said at the end, like some sort of action scene or something. But other than that, that's really all I have about likes and dislikes.
It did feel like a long episode of Breaking Bad. And in every episode of Breaking Bad, pretty much there's going to be a cliffhanger. Not so much resolution, maybe unless every episode pretty much ends with some sort of bang. And this didn't, and that's fine. It was the end. But we're going to do our ratings separately, and we will average them together. I don't know what Sean's going to rate. I'm not even sure what I'm going to rate, but we're going to do it in number of thumbs up to 10 thumbs.
All right. So with that, with our rating system, it goes 1 to 10 thumbs, 10 being the best, 1 being the worst, and me and Brad are going to average them together. So with that, I keep going back and forth on this one. So I'm going to give it 7.5 thumbs. So I gave it 7.5 thumbs because when it reminded me of when I was in school, you'd have a grading scale from 0 to 100. And anything really over 60 is passing, but you don't want a 6, you know, like that's really bad, even though it's still over the hump of 5. And I did enjoy this movie at the end of the day, and I thought it fit well in the universe, but it didn't quite hit the mark. But I enjoyed being back in the universe, and that's all I really have to say.
Will you watch it again without watching the show before it?
No.
Me neither. I would not watch it again. And it's not its fault. You know, it is what it is. I'm going to go with, which may surprise you, I'm going to give it 7 thumbs. And the reason why, like 6 of the 7 thumbs are because of its quality. Yeah. Okay? I have no complaints at all about it. It's just the fact that it exists. And its existence gets it its 7th thumb. I could have, if this was needed, I could have really pushed this up a lot higher because its quality is amazing. I thought it was perfectly made. Just the unnecessariness of it. I think we've said that enough now. So I'm going 7 thumbs. So that means that if I do my quick math, it's easy this time, that El Camino from Brad and Sean, gets a 7.25 thumb, which is like up to there on a thumb. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this. I definitely enjoyed myself. I would say that Sean probably enjoyed himself as well. Thank you for letting me share your thoughts with you, and thank you for watching us share our thoughts with each other. This was totally fresh for us, and we only get to see each other twice a year, and so we can do this more often. We can see each other once a week or more. Watch our next videos, but don't show up at our house and don't bother us in person. Make sure you only watch from a distance.